All right, now I'm on P127 of the Go Math homework. Let's get to it. So you're just comparing, just like we were doing in the previous videos, you're comparing to see if they're equivalent. So we have 35H and we have 5 times 7H. Well, 5 times 7 is 35 and the H stays. So 5 times 7H is 35H, and this is also 35H. So these are equivalent. Okay. Here, you're going to want to do the subtraction of the variables first. So combine these like terms by subtracting them, and then compare it to this. You may also want to plug in some numbers. So we'd have 10 plus, this is 5V, and this is 18 minus 3V. That does not look equivalent at all. But of course you can plug in some numbers for V to double check. Okay. I'm going to jump down a bit. Let's go to number 8, for example. Here we have y plus 2. Here we have y times 1. And then plus 2. I'll move this over a little bit. Okay, so y times 1 is just 1y. It's just y times 1 is y, plus 2, and this is y plus 2. So these are equivalent. We end up with the exact same expression. Now again, you can always plug in a number and solve to check for equivalency as well. Okay, so let me show you that really quick. Let's say, you know what, Mr. Music, all these combining like terms, blah, 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 it's really hard for me. That's understandable. This is challenging. It's not easy whenever you're dealing with variables. So another way you can do this is just pick a number for both variables. So here we have two variables, B and D, B and D. So let's say I want B to be 2 and I want D to be, let's say 3. If I just plug those numbers in, so now I have 6 and then 4, and it's times B, which is 2, plus 3 times D, which is 3. What will I get? Well, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 9. And then this is 6 times this, so then 8 plus 9, 17. And then I do 17 times 6. So this way obviously is more math, but if you're having trouble combining like terms, this is another way to check for equivalency. So that's going to be 42. So 102. Now, if I get 102 when I plug in these same numbers for these variables for this side, then they're equivalent. If I don't, they're not equivalent. So let's see what I get. So this is going to be 24 times 2 plus 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 24 times 2 is 48. If we add those, we get 57. 102 is not equivalent to 57. So these expressions are not equivalent. Now, you should have seen, though, that doing it that way takes a lot more time. Okay? There's a lot more math to do. However, again, I'm just showing you that if you are having a lot of trouble combining the like terms and comparing them that way, you can always just pick numbers for the variables, plug them in, solve them, find the value of them, and then compare the two values. So I just was comparing 102 and I forget what it was, 57 or something like that. And so that's how I decided they weren't equivalent. I didn't have to combine any like terms if I did it that way. But again, it takes more time. Okay, but either way, just like when multiplication, all multiplication is repeated addition. So if I have 24 times 12, I could just write 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 12 times, and then add it all up. I'd get the same answer, but it's not very efficient. So again, that's another way to check to see if these are equivalent, but it's not a very efficient way to check if they're equivalent, but you can do it. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's go down to number 10. So 9x plus 0 plus 10x, well, 0 has no value, especially when you're adding. It doesn't do anything. So I'm just going to combine these like terms. 9x plus 10x is 19x. And here I have 19x plus 1. So anyone who's ever played that game as a child where you say, well, I made 1,000,000 shots. Well, I made 1,000,000 plus 1 shots. You know that this is going to have a different value than this expression, because this is just 19x. This is 19x plus 1. So these are not equivalent. Okay. Let's jump down to the word problems. Rachel needs to write 3 book reports with B pages and 3 science reports with S pages during the school year. Write an algebraic expression for the total number of pages she will need to write. Okay, 3 book reports with B pages. So 3 and then times however many pages, so 3B, plus 3 science reports with, we don't know how many pages, so that's a variable. So 3B plus 3S would be our algebraic expression. Again, they didn't ask us to evaluate, so we're done. Rachel's friend Yasi has to write 3 times B plus S pages for reports. Use the properties, find out if they're equivalent to the number of pages Rachel has to write. So here was Rachel's expression. Let's look at Rachel's friend Yasi. Now we can use the distributive property. 3 times B is 3B plus 3 times S is 3S. So we see 3B plus 3S. So whether they're equivalent or not, you would say yes, they are equivalent. Or you can just write equivalent. I'm okay with that. Alrighty. Go ahead and try the others on your own. Do the best you can. Use any strategy you want that we've gone over. Can't just make up a strategy, obviously, to solve these. If you need any additional help, though, don't hesitate. Please raise your hand. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.